Alright. Haven't seen. What just happened? Why did every road disappear? Thought I downloaded all your roads. Nah, looks like I found the roads. Cool. It didn't break completely. Didn't you have... You know, I feel like I remember watching an episode of yours. And you had done some ore industry somewhere. And now I can't find it. Where did that happen? Do I have an outdated version of your map too? Yeah, 'cause didn't you do it? No, you didn't do it there. There's no way. Where the heck did you do it? Unless if that was a different series I'm talking about. What the heck? I'm so confused. I could have sworn you did something like in this area or something. I don't know. I'm very tired. This looks about right. Alright. I hope this is right. I mean, I remember this from your last episode, and I remember this from your last episode. But was this filled out? I don't know. I hope so. Yeah, so hopefully I got the right one. Welcome to Bridge Engineer Reviews Your City. This city is the city of Fairsted, sent to me by the joyous Joy Builds Cities. I highly recommend you check out Joy, as she is currently developing the city of Mordalgo, based around the concept of a 15-minute city. She does a much better job explaining it than I could, so find the link to her channel in my description by clicking the top right of the video right now, or by waiting until the end where there will be a link to her channel. The purpose of this video is to educate you on engineering practices that you can employ within your own city. These practices include transportation engineering, where I will focus on roads and bridges, traffic engineering, where I will focus on intersections and traffic flow, and hydraulic engineering, where I will focus on water towers and water structures. Keep in mind, I will not be criticizing the builder, only offering suggestions towards realism. This is just a game. We are allowed to build our cities however we want to. One final thing before we get started with the bridges. 75% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to my channel. I would greatly appreciate you subscribing if you even remotely enjoy the content I have to offer. Subscribing is completely free and keeps you up to date on my videos. Now let's move on to the bridges. This interchange feels overly complex. Granted, you have a lot of space constraints when designing the bridge, but it seems like a simple diamond interchange would be capable enough to do the job. Most of the grading is within acceptable levels to me, except for the highway ramps leading on and off the freeway. For the most part, these bridges are acceptable. I'd work on making the federally mandated highways fall within standards of no more than 7% grades. You wouldn't need to modify any of the local roads, only the highway ramps. This bridge looks like the least sturdy bridge of anything I have ever seen. And I know that's just the wood bridge in City Skylines, but it's just wood. When I got up real close, let's get up real close. There's no beams down the middle. That's not your fault, that's the game's fault. So, let's just pretend this bridge is properly load rated and properly designed. It should be okay. We got another complex interchange here. Gotta bring out old reliable. Let's check out the slopes. Actually, that's pretty good. I can appreciate that. What's going on with that pier? Why is it so far out? What the heck? Why is that pier so far? What's going on with this pier now? Uh-oh. Why are these piers just so weird? And why is that so noisy? Holy smokes. Well, like, the pier should be like that, maybe. I mean, the pier doesn't even need to be that wide. I don't know why the game does that. Why is the pier so wide? But I digress. And then this pier is just... Okay. I guess it wanted to do that. Why did the game do that? That doesn't make any sense. Basically, it's making this portion of the bridge right here a cantilever. That's not good. That means you need extra supports in that portion of the bridge. Uh-oh, Joy. Captain, we might be a little bit too big for this bridge. Ah, you don't know what you're talking about. Captain, we just lost our antennas. Nah, it's fine. Captain, we can't communicate with any other ships. Just shut up. That captain's drunk, that's for sure. And this bridge is too low, that's also for sure. The grading of the bridge is solid. I'm just not a big fan of the layout. I would try to curve the bridge a little bit instead of that sharp angle on the left of the highway. Also, some of the trees are too close to the bridge, so it's probably best to back those trees off a little. The grading on each end of the bridge is way too steep. I recommend changing the interchange to a dumbbell interchange where the highway ramps connect directly to the roundabouts on either side of this highway. That way you have more horizontal clearance to create a bridge with much better grading. These pedestrian bridges are extremely long. I think it's unnecessary to have this long of a bridge when you could easily bring the bridge to the ground around here and have pedestrians cross this road that doesn't see very high volumes of traffic. You know, I can tell you're not a big fan of crossing traffic. Would I be right in saying that? So you like to do everything with a right-hand turn, which is fine. But bridges are expensive. They really are, and they take up a lot of room. Plus you got this dipping down and then dipping back up. So maybe just smoothing that portion out right there and bringing this up to where it's just constantly going up instead of down then up. It might fix a little bit of your grading issues there. Then this side, just maybe pushing it farther over here would be better. This pedestrian bridge looks good to me. The zigzag of the bridge adds a level of complexity when designing, but otherwise it looks great. For the most part it's fine, but just smoothing that out probably would work too. That side's fine for the most part. Remember, these are inner city roads, so they have a little bit more leniency to them. It's the highways, the freeways that have a limit. Okay, so that's fine. It's not too long, so it should be okay. This bridge here is pretty solid. This side's a little steeper than I would like it to be, but it's even just bringing this over closer probably would solve your issue. I mean, I'll try it. We'll give it a shot. And now let's check it. Yeah, there we go. We're in better alignment there. So, something like that. But otherwise, it's not too big of a deal. As I was editing this portion, I just happened to remember another set of rules that must be followed for pedestrian bridges. Let me tell you, there are so many rules it's hard to remember every single thing. This rule is very important though. It is the maximum permissible grade for ADA, or Americans with Disabilities Act, accessibility. So, according to the Federal Highway Administration, the maximum permissible grade for ADA compliance is a grade of 1 to 12, or roughly 8.33%. And flat landings must be provided for every 30 inches or 2.5 feet of height of the bridge. The preferred grade for ADA compliance is 5%, but you are allowed to go up to 8.33% if needed. Now that I've remembered that rule, I will be skipping all pedestrian bridges for this city, and I will attempt to remember that for the next city review, as well as within my own city. Okay, looking at this section here, looking pretty good. Maybe bumping this intersection back farther to maybe here would give you a better grade. But other than that, it's pretty good. Pretty solid bridge there. This whole thing a bridge? What the heck, Joy? Now why would you go and do that to me? Why would you make this whole thing a bridge? Do you hate me? So it feels like you hate me now. Probably because you're just trying to make it look nice with the railings, but it's fine. It's just expensive. It's not that high off the ground. It's just super expensive. Like, holy crap. You did it over here too. No, Joy. It looks good, but oh. How far did it go? It ends there, I hope. Looks like it. Okay. That's a lot. That's super expensive just for a bike path. Okay, let's take a look at our standard city skylines interchange. They could have done better. They could have done so much better, in my opinion. Ooh, look at that bridge. This one must have come with the cities, so it'd be unfair to judge it. But I'm still gonna show you the grades on here, and that could be leveled out a little bit, like down to 7%. So maybe having it come out to here before it flattens out and does the suspension would be better, but that's just me. That's what I would do. But it looks like you don't really have access to the whole thing anyway, so there's not a whole lot you can do with that, which is unfortunate. Oh, what's going on over here? Let's check up on this. Are you at least tall enough? You don't look very tall. Oh gosh. Yeah. Both bridges are too short on this one. You might want to raise that bridge. Both of these bridges. I've noticed you really like your truss bridges. And that's fine, you can like them. Me personally, I have a personal vendetta against them. That's just me. Oh. Here we are. This is it. This is our tradition. Well, that's too short, and we're running right through a utility pole. Oh, we got another fire over there. So... Alright, so we got a couple things to talk about here. This utility pole needs to move. Like, now. I don't know how much damage is sustained, but somebody's gonna lose power here real quick. And then this bridge is too low as well. On this side, it doesn't look like you have any passenger boats coming through, so this side is fine. You're good over there. This bridge is good in terms of grading. I'm just not sure if this bridge is necessary. It's acting like a freeway, but it's not. But we got this one here, which is super duper low. Super duper low. And I see a boat path coming under here. Whoa, right into the pier as well. Or just like barely clipping it. Why am I going so low? Stop it. Ooh, that's not gonna work. I can promise you that. It doesn't take much to promise you that. There's no way. No, we didn't even clear the beams. It's even coming through the road. Ooh, yikes. Might wanna adjust that. I'll go to the edge of the bridge there, and it's a 5% slope. Then you just got that nice bridge. The piers look really good too. Like, the piers are amazing looking. Then we take our next ship, we come through, and hopefully we cleared it. If not, you just adjust and redo. But it looks like we got enough vertical clearance there. We're good. So just doing something as simple as that would help out a lot. an interesting and unique bridge. For the most part, it's good. I think the only thing I would consider is taking this section, making it the same grade. It'll just be easier for cars to travel on. And then taking this section, making it the same grade, much easier for cars to travel on. Yeah, so take my suggestion. Or don't. It's not a big deal. That's just how I view your city. This is how I would do it. Looks like you got a similar thing over here. And I would just downgrade, like set it to the ground so you're not bridging it. That's what I would do. You could even do that over here too. That's how I would handle it. So I would do that for the other side too. But if you want it all to be a bridge, you can do that too. It's not a big deal. It's an interesting and unique intersection. I don't know what to call it. For the most part, it's okay. A little bit steep in some areas, but it's not too bad. This right here is really, really steep on the sides. Also, it kind of just feels really tall. I don't think it needs to be that tall. You could probably drop it down by like 6 meters. You'd probably be okay. But just, if you're gonna keep it at this height, that's fine. Let's do that instead. And then same thing with this side. Let's do that. That would work. And I think, in my opinion, it looks better too. 12% grade, but this looks like a local road anyway, so you're probably fine. That one's good. That's 17.5% grade. Feels wrong. Doing something like that would be a little bit better. That 15.5 feels wrong. That's better. And that should be okay. I am trying something new where I don't give you your score right away, and you'll have to wait until the end of the video where Raid Kitty will give you your scores. Now, I'll cover road layout. My goal is to find areas that I am either confused about or see improvement opportunities and share my thoughts with you. This first interchange feels overly complicated and could probably be simplified down quite a bit. Roundabouts are generally a very good option to use until traffic volumes reach a certain point. Thankfully for this area, future expansion is unlikely, and therefore I don't see this ever becoming a problem. Okay, so I'm looking at this really windy highway here. And I'm wondering why it winds so much. Especially at high speeds. Like, this looks like a highway road. Let's check. Is it a highway road? Oh yeah, that's a highway road. So those are your highest speed roads, and you're winding insane curves. So you took your freeway and converged it to a 4-lane freeway that doesn't have a barrier down the middle. And I don't know how I feel about that. Not having a barrier down the middle would be scary. So I'm kind of glad you did this. This is a really nice example. You don't need to connect every single point every single time. It's not necessary. So just having an entrance and an exit going the same direction, totally fine. Totally up to the designer. Totally up to the city or the state or whoever is in control of it. Completely fine. This section of highway here feels like it could have gone straight through here. These little curves just feel a little bit unnecessary. But, if that's how you want to do it, that's fine. I would have lower speeds through this section though. But I do like how you kind of carved off some of the mountain, because that would for sure happen in real life. Taking a look at traffic flow, you're sitting right at 79%. Your peak traffic flow got up to 80%, so that will be the score that I grab. I'll get into trains later on in the video, You have a few problem areas, mostly around your interchanges with the highways. Otherwise, most of your city is doing well in terms of traffic flow. I took a look throughout your city at your intersection control and found you did a lot of traffic manager intersection control with the yield signs, which is good. The one thing I did notice is that traffic signals were few and far between. The places I expected traffic signals to be oftentimes were not present. I'm not seeing many water towers. What do we got over here? What is that? What are you? Small water pumping station. That's awesome. I appreciate the fact that you have pumping stations within your city, because every city has pumping stations, whether you know it or not. They are really small buildings just like this. They don't collect water for you. They take, okay, so, I'm gonna have to explain pumping stations now. Okay, I didn't think I'd have to do that for a while. All right, so pumping stations. Pumping stations are amazing. You would never ever look at a building and say, oh, that's a pumping station. Cool. No, you're gonna look at a building that's a pumping station, be like, what is the point of that? Basically, what's in there is pumps. Obviously, that's why it's called a pumping station. And what they do is, let's say you're on really, really flat ground, right? So, for example, this area, it's really flat. You're way out here. It's really hard to get water from here to, say, the corner over here. That's the whole point of water towers, is getting water to places where you normally couldn't. Well, how do you get the water up there? How do you get the water out there? You need pumping stations. So what happens is you got pipes running from the pump along the road. Well, they get lower and lower and lower because you have to have them angled so that water can flow. So they're going to get lower and lower and lower, and eventually they'll get too low. So that's where a pumping station comes in. So you take the water through a pump, you send it back up to the proper elevation, and you start over. And you send it farther. So what that does is, it's called head. It's the weirdest name I've ever heard in my entire life. But basically, when water is flowing through a pipe, that's called head. And your head just gets lower and lower and lower. Well, you need that head to come back up at some point. That's the point of the pumping station. You send the head back up to higher ground. I hope that made sense, because I feel like I didn't explain it well. Okay, so you got a water tower here. It's servicing this area over here because it doesn't look like you have any pumps. So that's fine. Got a water pumping station there. Probably fine. You're not anywhere near a water pump, so that makes sense. Water pipes underneath the river would most likely follow the bridge, because it would probably be connected to the bridge instead of being underneath the river. Got a water tower on the edge of town. Sure, that's fine. Got a water tower on the edge of town again. That's fine. So on to the last thing. Hydraulic structures. How did you do on that? So we got a little lake here. I'm assuming you were trying to make this a recreation lake, but it does kind of have a double usage here. You could use this as a detention basin, and if it got to a certain level, you have a little orifice here and a pipe that sends it right into the river. Beautiful, easy, no problem. So we'll give you some points for that. Any other water structures? And we're on fire again. You have a dried up riverbed, it looks like, which is definitely a unique feature that I haven't seen many people like mess around with. So if this area were to flood, you're gonna send water down this area. So yeah, that's pretty good. Not sure if that was your intention, but I like that. You have lots of open green space, lots of trees. You will definitely take care of a lot of flooding issues just by having green. More concrete means more impervious surfaces, and more impervious surfaces means you will not be able to get rid of the water as easily as you once were able to. Like this open greenland should help with this area being a lot of concrete. You got a couple big holes here? Well, it's going to capture water for you. We got another fire. Don't worry about it. It's okay. That's going to capture some water for you. Detention basin. We'll pretend. I'm not sure if that was your intention or not. Okay, and one final thing I wanted to cover. Railroads. The railroads are tricky. They really are. I don't like dealing with the railroads. So looking at this here, it looks like you have a high-speed rail. Well, this is really, really bendy. And trains don't handle curves super well. So what I would recommend doing is smoothing out the curve so it's not so bendy like this. They have to be slower. Like this, that's way too sharp of a curve. Consider extending that curve wider. Then this intersection feels just way too sharp. So I would consider fixing up this one. Maybe starting it over here and connecting it there. This one's, for the most part, okay, but I'd probably get the curve a little bit better. Over here we're doing okay. That's a nice smooth curve, and then we hit this part. And that's rough. And then we go over here, and we have a truss bridge that doesn't end where the pier is. And that's not okay. Then we come over here, and this is fine. But then we dip down, and then we dip back up. And I'm pretty sure this grade is not pretty. For railroads, they can't handle really steep grades. 13%. Yikes. That's rough. I would do this. There you go. That would make a lot more sense in my opinion. And we come over here, which is fine. And this curve is fine since they have to slow down for the station anyways. So that makes sense. But I would smooth out this section here, because you're slowing down your trains and it's not good. You could change this to a high-speed railway because it's straight. And that's a nice smooth curve. They gotta slow down anyway since we're hitting the station. Then you come straight across, nice smooth. It's all smooth. So for the most part you did good. You just have a couple problem areas where it's not so good. And that's just something I would kind of check in on. So yeah, I hope that was very informative for you, and I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Please don't take any of my criticism as me being mean to you, because I'm just trying to tell you how I view your city. And now, for final scores, I will hand it over to our wonderful guest, Raid Kitty.
Hey everyone, it's Raid Kitty, and I'm here with my Raid Kitty s'mores. And today we're in Joy Build City's town of Fairsted, and I have been given the honor of final judgment. So, bridges. You've scored a final score of 7 out of 10. Your biggest issues with these bridges are that some of the grades are not up to grading standards, and there are bridges throughout your city which are not tall enough for boats to pass under. However, you have wonderful strengths of the unique designs, which you're so very good at. And as a slight attack on me, thanks Jake, you do not have too many bridges, which is great. Moving down to road layout, you've scored a 6 out of 10. Some issues that have led to the score is that you do have some overbuilt service interchanges, and you have underbuilt some bridge crossings. But as always, your road hierarchy is impeccable, and you have strayed from the grid and provided an interesting layout to look at. Moving on to intersection control, you've scored a 7 out of 10. Jake believes that your traffic signals are not where they should be, but you have once again blown him away with your use of yield signs. You know, s'mores, this gift of final judgment seems like a lot of final praise. But that's okay. You deserve it. Moving down to traffic flow, you've scored a score of 6 out of 10. Overall, your traffic flow is 80%, and your trains do flow very well. I was not given any issues, so I'm just going to say that he meant to give you a 10, but he gave you a 6. Because if there's no issues, I don't understand why it wouldn't be a 10. Sorry, Jake. I give you a 10.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey now, Raid Kitty. We established a scoring system from your city. Every 5 percentage points you drop from traffic flow, you lose 1 point. Since Joy has a traffic flow of 80%, that would mean she loses 4 points. That's where the 6 out of 10 comes from. I will admit, traffic flow is the hardest category to score well in, as it is based purely on performance rather than opinion.
Moving down to your use of water towers. 10 out of 10! 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. You don't have any issues, and throughout your city, you had a wonderful usage of water pumping stations and properly located water towers. Some of Jake's favorite things after bridges. Finally, your water structures. Again, not many issues. You included drainage basins throughout your city, lots of open grass, and not a lot of concrete together, leading to a wonderful allowance of water to flow and not flood. So, overall, congratulations, Joy. You did a great job. You scored a total score of 46 out of 60, which is amazing. Congratulations, and you have placed...
Overall, Raid Kitty has a score of 42, Shukaboa has a score of 43, and now Joy has a score of 46.
And you know what? That is phenomenal. Thanks, Jake, for giving me the iron fist of judgment, but I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Raid Kitty, for helping me out. I will admit, it was getting dicey trying to get this episode ready for this premiere, but with your help, it was possible. Thank you so much, Joy, for allowing me to review your city. I hope you are satisfied with my review, and I hope you learned something. One final cliff note. You had some issues with pipes not working, and I could not figure out what was going on there, so I chose to ignore it, assuming that you didn't have that problem. If you haven't done so already, go check out Joy Build Cities. Make sure to subscribe to Joy, and subscribe to me as well while you're at it. If you have already done all of that, here's Raid Kitty's city review that I think you should watch.